very warm welcome to IDFC First Bank presents Leaders of Tomorrow Season 14. I'm Ritwika Gupta. Tonight we put a spotlight on the future of mobility and turn to an industry at the center of technological disruption. Mercedes Benz India has long been a defining force in India's luxury automotive market, while also shaping conversations around innovation, electric mobility and advanced manufacturing. On the show tonight, I'm in conversation with Santosh Iyer, MD and CEO at Mercedes Benz India, as we discuss how mobility leadership and the idea of modern luxury are evolving rapidly in a changing India. Santosh, welcome to ET Now. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. My pleasure. Thanks for having me on the show.
Santosh, to begin with, talk to us about India's luxury auto market. Luxury cars were once seen as symbols of old wealth, but today the buyer profile feels much younger, entrepreneurial. What do you think the rise of luxury mobility says about India's economic and cultural transformation?
No, I think if you can juxtapose the growth of the luxury car market and in fact Mercedes-Benz sales, you can directly see the growth of wealth, per capita GDP and our car sales. Let me give you some data points. If you see the number of cars that we have sold in the last 3 years is much more than the cars that we have sold in the first 20 years in India. So, that just shows the kind of, I would say, demand that's come in the last couple of years than what we have ever witnessed. We have been in India for almost 3 decades now. So I think what has changed is, of course, from 2014 onwards, the per capita GDP, which used to be at around $1,800, has gone up to $2,800. Car sales, therefore, has doubled for us in the luxury car market and for Mercedes-Benz as well. So clearly, there is a direct correlation to the wealth creation that has happened in India to sales.
Sure.
The second is also for luxury car consumption to grow up, you need a very good infrastructure. We have seen that roads and highways has developed really exponentially in the last couple of years, and that has also led to intra-city driving, leading to growth and consumption pattern there. But the biggest remarkable change is the demographic. Much more younger consumers buying car. The average age has come down from 41 to 37.
Right.
More women buyers coming and buying, from a 8 to 9%, it has gone up to 15% of women buyers in the portfolio. Also, it's led by double income families because there is a very clear, it's not it's a household income which matters and not the per person income, which is because the household wants to spend on luxury. And last not the least, I think the aspirations of India, the feeling to reward oneself on achieving a certain position or listing your startup. I think these are things which are also driving consumption and growth, and therefore you can safely assume that there is a direct correlation to Mercedes-Benz India sales and to the way the economy in India has developed.
Absolutely, and of course that transformation is also reshaping the future of mobility itself. We have EVs, connected cars, autonomous systems, shared mobility. What do you think mobility will truly look like, 10 years from now?
So, it's a very special year for us. We are celebrating 140 years of innovation. 140 years back, we invented the automobile and the rest is history. But today, there are two challenges. On one side, we see powertrain challenges because there is a shift to decarbonize the auto industry, which means electrification is the goal. As of now, there are no feasible alternate technologies at scale which can help in decarbonizing the industry. So I think there is a path towards electrification. How soon we can decarbonize will depend on what the customer wants. Today, our strategy has been to be agnostic to powertrain. We have electric in our portfolio. 20% of the sales that we do in the top end segment are electric.
Right.
We have clean gasoline, we have clean diesels. Diesel sales are going up post GST also because of TCO reasons. And now we have also announced that we will introduce a plug-in hybrid in the market with our new S-Class. So which means that customers will have a choice to select on the powertrain. So in the future, 10 years from now, for sure, there will be a larger amount of population shifting to electric. But I think the in-between technologies like plug-in will also play a very significant role in electrifying and making consumers feel confident about the future.
Sure.
The trends when it comes to mobility trends like shared mobility, I think this was a very big buzzword 5 to 7 years back. Everybody thought that why should I own a car when I can rent it and it's quite easy. But we have clearly realized that car is a personal asset. You will still use some of the aggregators, cab aggregators when you want to commute for short distances, but you still need a personal car reflecting your personality. You want to drive the car as well. So that's where the future trend will emerge, and also with a lot of autonomous features coming in, I think you can enjoy the car when you want to drive.
Sure.
Let's say the new Mumbai Sea Link, for example, or coming to the missing link from Bombay to Pune. But on the other side, if you are stuck in traffic, a lot of autonomous features will kick in, which means you can do your calls, you can call up, chat. It doesn't mean just office calls. You can also catch up with your family back home. You can do some work in the car, because there those mundane tasks are taken over by the car with a lot of ADAS systems, autonomous system, and it gives time back to the occupant so that they can use it for more productive purpose. So I think a lot of change you can see in the way the powertrain will develop, a lot of change in the way the consumption is there. But one thing is clear, the car will remain personal, and consumers would love to have a car which reflects their personality as well.
Right, and at the heart of that shift, of course, is technology. Cars today are becoming software-led, connected, intelligent machines. How do you think AI and technology will change the way we drive?
No, I think there is a reason why technology is at the heart of changing this landscape. When you talk about today's cars, they are all software defined, and we start architecture of a car starting from the software. Now, there is a reason. There are two core reasons why it's happening. On the one side, it's to increase customer convenience in the car. So, the new E-Class, it can learn routines. You're dropping your kid to school, the seating position is different than picking up your wife from work, or vice versa. The aircon is temperature settings can be accustomed to what you want. So, there is a lot of convenience that AI can learn from the driver or the owner of the car and try to give convenience to the customer.
Right.
The other use case, as I said earlier, is on autonomous and on driving assistance systems. Today, due to AI, the cars are becoming more safer, they are becoming more autonomous. A lot of real-time algos can be processed to make the car drive on its own and predict a lot of situations which a normal human driver can't predict. So I think the AI will go into making cars safer. AI will ensure the cars are autonomous at a much faster pace, but more importantly, it will also give back a lot of convenience to the customer in terms of the way he or she is interacting with the car, using the car. And today it's all conversational. So I think even when you are alone in the car, you want to converse with someone, and I think that AI companion which can help you not only plan your driving routes or charging of the car, but can also help prepare the car for charging, for example. So a lot of these technologies will help customer experience change significantly on the positive side.
Right, but even as the industry races ahead, the automotive sector, and we are all navigating global uncertainty. So with ongoing tensions in the Middle East driving volatility in global oil prices, how concerned is the automotive industry about the long-term impact on consumer sentiment, mobility costs, and the pace of EV adoption?
So I think today, it's in this today's VUCA world, we have been saying this for quite some time, to expect a world which is very stable is also a fallacy. When COVID happened, it was the biggest thing to happen. If you look at India, we had GST changes in the past, we had harmonization of GST, demonetization, you had COVID coming up, taxation changes being there. So I think today, internally, macroeconomy wise, as well as externally outside of India, tariffs, there are so many changes. And for leaders, I think we have to take it in our stride and adapt our business to this changing environment. So there is no longer a point to crib or to feel afraid of what's going to happen. I think we adjust our businesses. For the automotive industry, there are two ways to look at the crisis. One, of course, the oil prices may drive decarbonization agenda even faster, because customers would love to be decoupled with the dependency on oil by going to other powertrains and also fuel efficient powertrains as well. But on the other side, there can be supply chain challenges. There can be also discovery of new supply chains that can emerge because of the current crisis that happens in different parts of the world. One thing which has changed is nobody is dependent on one single source. Everybody has a plan B which is coming in place. Plan B for logistics, plan B for shipping, plan B for, I would say, also trying to find alternate suppliers. I think that's today's time, and leadership demands flexibility, adaptability, and being agile to change and accepting change to start with. So these things will continue, and as I said at the start, to expect things are going to be stable is a fallacy.
Santosh, you earlier spoke about bringing plug-in hybrids into India. Do you think India's EV transition will realistically be fully electric, or do hybrids become a more practical bridge for a market like India?
So, for no doubt about it, if you see our portfolio, we have a strong EV portfolio in our top-end segment. As I said, the share of our top-end EV sales are 20% of our portfolio. In the entry, we just have the new CLA. Again, we have sold out. Currently, we are trying to get more cars. So, there is clear demand for EVs in India as well.
Sure.
But 20% is one good way to say that that's great. The other way to look at the 20% is to say that the 80% are still not buying an EV. And when you talk to them, they have the concern about range anxiety, residual values, also growing to live up with an EV. And this is where I think the plug-in offers a very good solution, because it's a pure EV, 100 plus kilometers range on a day-to-day basis. On the one odd occasion, you want to go Delhi, Jaipur, or do something else, or you forgot to charge, you don't have the time and the bandwidth to charge, or your driver can't go in, you can continue the combustion engine powertrain and charge it later. So I think this is also a teaser for customers to start to know to live with an EV, and maybe later on they shift to an all EV powertrain as the technology is developed. So for us, as I said, we are fully agnostic on powertrain. We would offer clean gasoline, clean diesels, PHEVs wherever possible, and also of course electric cars across the portfolio.
Our show is watched by a lot of MSMEs, small business owners, startup founders, and the automotive industry also sits at the center of a massive MSME ecosystem. We have suppliers, ancillary manufacturers, logistics players, component makers. How important are MSMEs to the future of India's mobility and manufacturing ambitions?
I would say, MSMEs are the backbone of India's manufacturing ecosystem, specifically automotive itself. I think automotive industry has the tier 1, 2, 3 clear concepts there. A lot of MSMEs have grown in scale. They are reinventing themselves. Also, the fundamental need for automotive is to be closer to the factory because of just-in-time production needs. Therefore, a lot of small units engaging a lot of labor, also creating a lot of employment. And I think that's really remarkable in the way MSMEs in India have developed, taken up the challenge.
Right.
And the cost competitiveness. I think one of the biggest strengths of Indian automotive industry, particularly on the manufacturing side, is the cost competitiveness of the Indian MSMEs and the auto component industry. Very frugal, but not shying away from innovation, trying to experiment, being bold enough, and ability to scale actually also being there pretty fast. So today, if I look at the trade or the exports, that's also increasing from the auto component industry from India to Europe and to other geographies. I think it's remarkable. So surely the MSME is a strong backbone pillar of the auto industry growth in India, and I think a lot of credit should be given for the MSME ecosystem to enable this growth for the automotive industry.
Right, and that ties directly into the broader conversation around India's manufacturing competitiveness. A lot has been said about Make in India over the years, but from a global automotive perspective, where do you think India has genuinely become competitive today? And how critical will infrastructure development be in determining how quickly India adopts next-gen mobility?
I think on the manufacturing side, when you talk about combustion engine powertrains, India is benchmark in terms of cost, I can say, in terms of what, the Indian automotive industry is able to produce at scale and even export. So I think there's absolutely no doubt there. When it comes to the electrification and the EVs, still there's a lot of dependency. It's still nascent, also in terms of cost competitiveness. But I think it's a matter of time. On one hand, I said that the per capita GDP, is increasing,
sure,
which also means if it's a pure labor arbitrage industry, you can't survive, because it's very clear in 10 years, if India is growing, going to become a $6 to $8 trillion economy with the population a bit stagnant, then per capita income will increase, which means the labor arbitrage that we rely on today won't exist. So what's needed is innovation. What's needed is scale, so that we are not just depending on a labor arbitrage kind of a situation, but I think Indian automotive manufacturing ecosystem is really clever to get the cost out of the system.
Sure.
This should extend to new powertrains, as I said, like EVs as well. And invest a lot in R&D. I think we have been able to make things better and also at a lower cost, but inventing things, platforms, and trying to support. I think here we just need a bit more commitment, I would say, to the innovation ecosystem so that India can contribute to the world as well.
Santosh, trade policy is also becoming increasingly important in that equation. There's growing discussion around India's FTAs and how they could reshape manufacturing, exports, and industrial competitiveness. How significant do you think these trade agreements could be for sectors like automotive and mobility?
So I think this is a great opportunity. As a multinational, we have always believed in two-way trade. Definitely, when the borders open up, India gets access to much more richer economies and consumption economies, which can actually buy goods and services from India as well. Similarly, flow of goods from those economies can come in. So definitely, the two-way trade among the large economies should surely boost demand, consumption on both sides, and also a lot of IPs, a lot of, I would say, technology transfer, and those possibilities will be even more. I think India should always be open, and I think competition is also healthy to bring the best out of it. It's of age now, and I think we have to be confident of the manufacturing ecosystem in India that they can easily compete with the best in the world. The FTAs will give that opportunities. I think we can already see a lot of interest from European, I would say, suppliers, many OEMs, etc. Also in India, trying to see how they can utilize the competitiveness of India for the global ecosystem as well. So I think once the FTAs come into effect, I am damn sure the economic impact will be significant, and that helps drive consumption as well.
Fantastic. And you know, the theme for our show this season is Emerging Businesses, the India Advantage. From your perspective, what genuinely defines India's advantage today?
Today, on the manufacturing side, it's mostly on the cost arbitrage. Definitely, I think, as I said earlier as well, Indians have the ability to scale using innovation. Indians have the ideas to do a lot of vertical integration. Actually, that also helps to get the cost out of the system. They are able to vertically integrate many of the processes, so they are not dependent on external outsourcing, and they have insourced a lot, which helps them to also keep the cost and also some of the designs and IP within the ecosystem to be competitive. So I think that's a unique edge. I'm now more specific on the automotive side. What can be improved is always IP and a bit more investment on the R&D side. There, it's not just the industry, but also the education ecosystem needs to change. I think we need a bit more, a lot to happen in the way the education system is, a lot more hands-on training, also encouraging a lot of startups and the ecosystem there. So there is a lot happening. But I would still say that, we have to go after cost in a different way. For example, logistic costs in India is still 10 to 12% compared to the 3 to 4% of some other economies. So whatever efficiencies we are able to bring up in manufacturing, if that is lost in taxation, lost in logistic ecosystem, in logistic costs, for example, the time taken to clear some of these also pulls back the efficiencies that's created by entrepreneurs on one side. So I think the entrepreneurial mindset and the ecosystem is strong. It needs a lot of, or I would not say a lot, but yeah, surely a big push in terms of getting the speed, removing the bottlenecks. And I think logistic cost is one area, if you ask me, a lot can be achieved with infrastructure, with better transport, with better ease of doing business, I would say, to get these costs much more at a much more competitive level.
And finally, on a more personal note, tell us, has your own definition of leadership evolved over the years, amid constant disruption, technology shifts, and economic uncertainty?
So, for me personally, I've worked with multiple brands in my career as well. And in the last 17 years now with Mercedes Benz here, Germans are known for planning, a long-term planning view. We grew up in that ecosystem to plan 5 to 10 years in advance. But in the last couple of months and years, we have realized that that's a bit impractical. For sure, you should have a long-term view, maybe a destination, maybe a clear target picture, but you can't be fixated. Plans needs to change quarter, month, and one should not get hassled with the changes. I think it's an organizational culture is also important, because adapting to changes is not just at an individual level, but how do you take people along, the ecosystem along with you, our dealers, our partners. And I think that's a big learning for us on a daily basis, with the macroeconomic environment changing so fast, with the uncertainties being there. Can you adapt the business, grow profitably?
Right.
And both are important, because it's not one against other, but I think growing profitably amidst all that's happening around us, I think that needs, again, a lot of agility, a lot of perseverance, at the same time, having a strategic mindset and adaptability to change strategy as and when required. I think that's been a big learning in the last 36 odd months, and accepting that world will be like this. There will not be a better time in times to come.
Well, this was a great conversation. Thank you so much for your time, Santosh.
Thank you. My pleasure. Thanks for having me here. All the best. Thank you.
With that, it's a wrap on this edition of IDFC First Bank Presents Leaders of Tomorrow Season 14. We hope you enjoyed the conversation. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.